All right, I'm introverted, so go easy on me. I was at a family gathering recently. Everyone in the room had their head bent towards a glowing screen. My cousin was on TikTok. My auntie, well, she was on Facebook, as aunties tend to do. And my niece was gaming. As for me, well, I pretended to check an urgent message just to avoid any level of small talk. So technically, we were together, but were we connected? Not even close. So here's the big question. How can it be that we're in the most connected time in history, yet a lot of us feel lonelier than ever? A Gallup poll taken in 2023 says that 1 in 4 adults worldwide said that they feel lonely on a regular basis. That's over 2 billion people who said that they feel disconnected from other people regularly. And it's not just loneliness that they're experiencing. It's this restless itch that's coming from our notifications, prompting us to check our phones and join endless group chats. We've built this world where silence feels suspicious.
Good.
And that's because, on average, we check our phones over 144 times a day. That's once every 7 minutes when we're awake, which means that some of you have checked your phone while I started talking. That's okay. I don't take offense to it. I understand it. Phones make us feel busy. They make us feel entertained. They make us feel important. And even on occasion, they can keep us informed. But through social media and the internet, we've become curators of moments instead of actually participating in them. And with this massive shift of most, if not all, of our interactions happening online, our connections with other humans feel trite and transactional. We live our lives vicariously through our screens. And this leads me to wonder, is there a way back to real human connections? We turn to technology to hopefully bring us closer, but somewhere along the way, it actually pulled us apart. Hey, and this isn't to rail against technology. I'm using tech to deliver this speech right now. And there are countless ways that technology has increased the quality of all of our lives. So the issue isn't just tech, it's our dependency on tech to make it think for us, to make it feel for us. That's what's leaving us feeling disconnected. So if the solution to reconnection is not through more technology, then what could it be? What if it's something familiar, something that's been in our face this whole time? What if it's something that we haven't tapped into yet? What if it's introversion? Now, I know that sounds like a curveball because most people, and even some introverts, are not really clear on what the word introversion even means. So, to the few that do know, they would never connect introversion to connecting more with people. But to me, that's where the opportunity is. When I say introversion, I'm not talking about the cliche, antisocial, quiet person, standoffish person, even though some introverts do identify with those characteristics. But it's not the whole story when it comes to introversion. Introversion and, by default, its cousin, extroversion, are all about energy. More specifically, about how we recharge to gain energy. Introverts recharge by turning inward. That's through solitude, that's through calm environments, that's through reflection. While extroverts, you guessed it, they turn outward to recharge. That's through being around people, large crowds, activities. They like stimulating environments. But it's not about how social you are. It's about where your energy comes from. And seeing introversion that way changes everything. Because it's those same quiet instincts that introverts have that I believe is the blueprint to reconnection. And there are 3 principles of introversion that can show us the way. Principle number 1, active listening. Introverts are known for listening more than we talk. It's like our calling card.
Yeah.
In a world where everyone is racing to be heard, listening feels like a radical act. Active listening isn't something we should just do. It's how we process. It's how we find understanding before we respond. And this isn't just an abstract idea. This is something that shows up in everyday moments. Like the time that I had a team meeting and everyone was out pitching each other. Voices were getting louder. Ideas were flying all over the place. And I just sat quietly, taking in all the information. And it wasn't until towards the end that I suggested that two of my colleagues actually were saying the same exact thing, but they were using two different words. Everyone paused. They realized that we were just talking past each other for an hour and a half. I feel like everyone knows that story. That moment of clarity shifted the whole conversation. Not because I said much, I didn't even say anything profound, but because I was listening, I was able to see where the intersection of the ideas were. And it spared us all from having yet another meeting about the same things. Listening should not be done passively. It should be done actively. It's how we begin to build trust with each other. And that's where real connection begins. Principle number 2, introspection. Introverts retreat inward. Not to escape. Sometimes to escape. But mainly we retreat inward to reflect. And here's the thing, overstimulation from technology leaves almost no room for thought. We are constantly scrolling, reacting, refreshing, almost like we're the programs. But when you take the time for introspection through mediums like journaling, taking a walk outside, or maybe just sitting with yourself, you start connecting dots that you didn't even notice before. Susan Cain, who wrote a popular book on introversion, appropriately called Quiet, said, solitude is the catalyst for innovation. Think about that. Some of our best ideas come from sitting with yourself. When you finally close some of those tabs, both in your brain and in your browser, you create the bandwidth to be able to entertain and enjoy new things. And the best part about being introspective, you can do so anywhere. There are times where I'm deep in thought just sitting on the couch, or a long drive home, or sitting in that driveway right before you get home. Matter of fact, one of the best places I like to do my deepest reflection is in the shower. Y'all not feeling that? Okay. Maybe it's just me. Anywhere that lets you dive into your thoughts uninterrupted is a great place for introspection. And the more we spend our time there, the more we get to understand not just ourselves, but others too. Which leads me to principle number 3, probably the most important principle, empathy. Introverts process carefully, which means we feel deeply. And often this means that introverts lead with empathy. Building real connection isn't about how fast we respond. It's about how deeply we aim to understand what another person is going through. I think about a close friend of mine who shared something heavy with me one time. Instead of rushing in with advice and trying to provide solutions, I just sat there and I listened. I nodded, and then I gave space. Space for them and for me to feel what they were going through. And later, after they had a chance to get deep and introspective with themselves, they told me that they not only felt heard, but they felt seen. And I didn't even do anything. I was just there with the intentions to understand. And that's all they needed in that moment. And that's empathy. And studies back this too. Research in the Journal of Personality shows that introverts score higher on sensitivity to social cues, which makes sense because we notice the quiet stuff that everyone else misses. The tone of voice, the hesitation before a word, the shift in body language. And that's what's missing when our connections are reduced to just likes, clicks, and swipes. Online echo chambers can only lead to increased division and forces people to devalue diverse experiences. I think it's very clear that we're in a space right now that empathy cannot be downloaded nor streamed. It has to be lived. So here we are, disconnected by technology, but with the chance to be reconnected by introversion. Not through grand gestures or endless posts online, but through small, simple choices. Actively listening, prioritizing introspection, and choosing empathy over performance. If each of us is committed to just one of these acts today, imagine how different our connections can feel tomorrow. Because the truth is, we don't need more followers. We need more connection. And introversion, quiet as it may seem, might just be the loudest answer we have to save the world. Thank you.